Hello everybody, welcome back to the Unemployed Movie Critic YouTube channel. Let's talk about Pixar's Hoppers. Brief summary of Hoppers. This girl, Mabel, starts as she's a little girl and she is trying to save all of the animals that are like the class pets at her school. She gets in trouble and she gets sent to grandma's house, and grandma really inspires her to love nature, to take care of nature, that nature is a safe place where you get to relax, connect with animals. It's a beautiful thing. And grandma eventually dies, as you know, you would expect of a Pixar movie. So grandma dies, but now Mabel is like a young adult. She's maybe like 19 or 20 and she's going to college, and she is an environmental activist. She is the Greta Thunberg of Asian America. So she is, making noise. She's protesting. She's doing what she thinks is right, which is awesome to see. So the big conflict with Mabel is the Mayor Jerry, wants to build this highway. So he's destroying this natural land, the land that her grandma, owned. It looks like it was like part of her grandma's property or nearby where her grandma lived. She used to hang out there all the time, and so she is like, we need to put a stop to Mayor Jerry's evil plans. And Mayor Jerry is a pretty dirty, evil man. He like constructs this like fake tree that has this like noise that only animals can hear to like ward off the animals so that they all leave the habitat. And then he's like, well, there's no animals here, so because there's no animals in this habitat, we're allowed to build on top of it because he's dirty and evil and he loves money. Mabel goes to talk to her professor, and her professor is like, well, sorry, there's not anything we can do about it. But then, as Mabel is trying to attract a beaver to the habitat so that animals can live there and that he can't build the highway, she notices a very strange beaver. And the beaver gets into a car, and it's really cute and funny. So she follows the car to where the beaver is, and lo and behold, her professor is the beaver. So her professor has this system called the hopping system, and she invented it because she's a super genius. And so they have these little robots of animals, and they're like very realistic, and she can put her consciousness into the robot animal so that she can talk to animals and explore their habitats and learn more about them. So it's really freaking cute. And so she's a little beaver, and Mabel is like, I gotta do this so I can bring the animals back to the habitat. And Professor's like, don't do that, but it's too late. Mabel straps her skull into the brain transmitter thing, and she goes into the little beaver body. And something I really liked about this movie is when the people are in the animal when they're in the animal robot, they can talk to other animals in English, and they can communicate, and their eyes turn white and big and expressive. But to the outside world, they're just an animal, and they go,
Look, Doc, I'm just gonna borrow it to grab her.
Cute, and they look so cute when they're like talking to the people, and the people can't understand them because their little eyes are like black and they look like calico critters basically. And then she meets this king beaver man, and the king beaver guy is like, yeah, I created my own community basically where all the other animals who got displaced from the homes can come and hang out, but there's like a special order to things, so don't mess with the order of things. As the robot beaver, she is like, we have to convince the other animals to come back. And she does for a second. She convinces the animals to come back to the habitat, and she destroys the fake tree. But then Mayor Jerry finds out, and he constructs another fake tree. So they all leave again. I'll skip. Obviously, she messes with the order of things, obviously, but I won't ruin the movie for you because it's still in theaters. She messes with the order of things, and now all of the animal kingdom is like upset with her, and she's just trying to convince everybody to try to fight against Mayor Jerry. Also, she tells the animal kingdom what Mayor Jerry's up to, and they're like, we're gonna kill him. We're gonna kill Mayor Jerry. We're gonna kill his ass. And so all of the animals are out to kill Mayor Jerry, and also Mabel, because she pissed them all off. And Mabel's trying to mourn the mayor because she's like, well, I don't like him, but I also don't want him to die. And so shenanigans ensue. Fast forward. Mabel, excuse me, Mabel is able to warn the mayor. The mayor and she reconcile, and the animals feel betrayed because they find out that she's a person, that she's a person and not a beaver. But then they get over it at the end and they all become friends. She and Jerry come to a conclusion. They reach across the aisle even though they hate each other and they're sworn enemies. And Mayor Jerry's like, all right, we're not going to build the highway over this habitat, and we're going to try to work together. And also in the end, it's cute. Her professor has a whiteboard, and their system got shut down because hopping is super dangerous, and the university found out about it. But she's like, but don't worry, I have a new invention, a dog collar that can help dogs talk. And it's like Doug from Up, and she's inventing the first Doug collar from Up. So she invented it, which is pretty cool. We got to meet her. She's a woman, herstory. She's making herstory. Now let's talk about some of the main takeaways from this film. First of all, the film is very pro-environment, obviously. It's about taking care of animals, taking care of the environment, not being selfish and taking advantage of the environment for your own money and, not caring about the longevity of what you're doing. So it's very pro-environment, but it's also pro-environment in the fact that it is not AI. Okay, so it is not expressed in the film at all, but watching the film, I couldn't help but feel like it's so touching to have a film that was crafted by hand, that had so much time and hours put into it in the age of AI. So we all know that Pixar films are like some of the longest projects. They take forever to make, and they animate tiny little individual hairs for each person and each animal, and they flush out the backgrounds of everything. They're very beautiful looking animations. And so that was something that I couldn't help but think about throughout the film. And it made me emotional, honestly, to know that a team of people worked so hard to create a script that obviously meant a lot to them, to animate for probably years to make a beautiful project just so children can enjoy a beautiful story, to know that there was representation of other cultures that are not usually seen in films. The main character is an Asian girl, which is crazy, is it not, in a major motion picture, especially for children. Gina Davis, if you didn't know, created a foundation that examined children's media and who the main protagonists of children's media were. And almost all children's films have a male central character who is a hero who saves the day, and they have women in more passive roles who need saving, who are the funny sidekick, blah 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 blah. So it is pretty fascinating. I definitely know that Hoppers is not the only child's film that does this, but it's beautiful because it's an original story. Disney remaking every known princess movie known to mankind. It's an original story, and they actually put thought and dedication into it. It's beautiful. So many corporations are going towards AI, and maybe Disney is going towards AI. I don't know. I'll have to look it up after this video, but so many corporations want to get in touch with AI. AI is the new buzzword. It's the new thing that businesses think are going to make them appealing in the marketplace or whatever, even though it's wasteful, it's stupid, it hurts creativity, it hurts jobs, the economy, people who actually can create and make something from their minds. It replaces the human spirit, and it's sloppy and tacky and cheap. And it's a film like Hoppers that cares so much about the environment, and both in the film and outside of the film is really a beautiful thing to see. And I know that Disney is a corporation. I know that they will profit from this film. I know that they will make thousands of tons of products based on this film, t-shirts and bags, and they'll sell stuff at Disney World, and they'll have stuffed animals for each of the animals in the film. I know that they will do that. I know that they will profit. I know that they're going to make a lot of money, but I don't think that takes away from the fact that a screenwriter, a director, animators, people who are true artisans got to tell their story in a beautiful way. And sure, Disney probably interfered and said, you can't say that, you can't do this, but it's inspiring to know that the human touch and the human spirit was live in this movie. And how many people, how many children will be inspired because of this film to go into environmental science, to take care of the environment? If they're a kid like me, I'd probably go home and be like, Mom, you're not supposed to put that in a recycling bin because it's bad for the animals and the turtles will choke. So, you know, I think overall it probably is a net good, probably for them profit-wise and for children of America. So the film is very pro-centrist, which is something I think I have seen a couple people talk about, and it is. It really is. I mean, it kind of feels a little bit goofy at times that, like, can't we all just get along, kumbaya, we love each other? It is a little bit goofy and it feels a little bit unrealistic, but dare I say, shouldn't we try to be aspirational, and shouldn't we indulge in escapism when we go to the movies? In a perfect world, we could talk to each other, we could reach across the aisle, and even the people that we completely disagree with, we could find common ground and we could make real change happen. And ideally, that's something we should all try to do. I genuinely think everybody in the whole wide world, especially in America, we should want to come to a compromise, reach across the aisle, try to understand each other, because that's how real change happens. In Congress, as we've seen, in the Senate, in our governmental bodies, because we have two parties and there's nothing in the middle, we always just disagree with the other side, and literally nothing happens all the time, always. And I think if we really want change to happen in America, and if we're scared of delving into fascism, then we do need to reach across the aisle. Something I heard once, and that really sticks with me, is that liberals really tend to eat their own. So obviously I'm liberal.
Lunch must be a liberal sissy.
I think we have created this evil, terrible system where liberals just try to, like, find dirt on somebody, which is bad. So, for example, like, how many times have you heard about a celebrity, a singer, an actor, whoever, and then people will dive into their posts that they made when they were 13 years old, or they'll find their mom's Facebook account and be like, Mom is a Trump supporter, or great aunt Crystal is a Trump supporter, so that must mean that they are too, because they haven't said anything about that. That is stupid and annoying. Or if somebody says something wrong, instead of being like, hey, you know, actually, you probably shouldn't say that, we're just like, headline, breaking news, they said something wrong, and that's not very cool. Here's a statement from somebody saying that it's really fucked up. And then the statement will be like, fuck that person. We hate you. I can't believe you would disrespect me and my family and everything that I stand for. And I hate you and you suck. And good luck trying to make it in Hollywood, buddy. And I will say, I don't really think cancel culture is a real thing. I think you can say and do crazy things and be incredibly racist and a very bad person, and I don't really think a whole lot will happen to you, to be honest. We've seen time and time again, horrible, terrible, awful people can get found out, they'll never change, they'll never apologize, or they'll make a half-assed apology, YouTube apology, where they start the camera and go, I didn't think I'd have to do this, and they keep getting away with it. Nothing happens to them. They continue to have supporters. They continue to have viewers. They continue to make money forever. So I will say I don't think that's a real thing. But I also think, on the other side, we shouldn't try to tear somebody apart. That's not productive at all. Think of all the time that you're wasting doing stupid shit. Like, we are edging closer and closer into a world that is more evil than the one that we were born into, and that should make everybody very scared. We are living in the movie cabaret. We're all sitting around, farting around on the internet. Meanwhile, the Nazis are outside. They are going to start killing people. So I think to be productive, to be good liberals, to do things that actually have to do with our cause and the things that we care about, you cannot be on the internet. Don't waste all of your time on the internet debating about stuff, yelling about stuff, typing out mean comments. How are you helping anybody? That is so, it actually infuriates me. Do you guys remember, like, during the pandemic when people posted a black square on their Instagram page or, like, on their profile picture, and they're like, blackout, let's let the hate end, guys. And what did that do for anything? It's not productive. Go out and actually do something. Don't waste all of your time on Instagram. So I think you kind of get what I'm saying. Like, we should all strive to know somebody. You are supposed to have family members and friends that have very different opinions from you. Hello, it's me. I just thought about something else that I wanted to clarify. So, I look terrible, don't look at me. Don't become friends with somebody who's evil and a terrible, bad person, obviously. But you can be friends with people who have different opinions. And number two, if you are friends with somebody, if somebody is your lifelong friend or your family member or your brother, and then they start to go down this weird path, don't abandon them. I know it's tempting. And I mean, if they start being evil and going off the rails, then yeah, you should probably abandon them then. But I mean, catch it when it's young. Be like, dude, why are you being like this? I want anyone to be like, well, she thinks we should be friends with the KKK. We're supposed to have differences. And then you're supposed to talk to your friend and be like, hey, man, when you say that, it makes me feel terrible because I really care about this. And I also think you should care about this. And even if you disagree, we're supposed to be able to find common ground and be like, well, even if you believe this, it probably shouldn't be a law. Even if you believe this, you probably shouldn't vote for this person, blah, 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 blah. We're supposed to be able to talk to people about that kind of thing. And I understand where it comes from. I think I used to be a lot like this when I was a young adult, when I was like 18, 19, and I got to college and I was finally surrounded by people who had similar views from myself. And I would get really angry at people and I would argue online, and I was really down with the system. I was a lot like Mabel, where I was just like, down with the system. I'm going to show up and I'm going to be loud and I'm going to be obnoxious and I'm going to continue to talk about things until they change. And I think that's a good thing. I think we need young people to be annoyed and fed up and to continue to show up and be loud and obnoxious. But we have to do it in real life, and we have to try to come up with a solution. We can't just keep yelling at the wall and expecting something to change. We have to go out, do things, attend protests, write your senators, call, email, elect the right people, vote, for God's sake, inform others, talk to people that you disagree with, meet new people in real life and talk to those people. And that's how real change happens. The civil rights movement didn't change because Martin Luther King was mad about stuff on Instagram all day. He met with people, he met with politicians, he talked about what he believed was right, and he convinced other people to believe that he was right as well. He wasn't just talking to people that agreed with him. The whole point is you're supposed to talk to people who don't really agree with you so that they can now agree with you to come to your side and to make real change happen. So I do think, yes, the film is a little bit on the nose and a little bit, chummy, if you will. But I think we should all kind of have this mindset that if we talk to people and if we care about each other and love each other as human beings, we can make change happen. And I know it's easy to be pessimistic. I am pessimistic, but sometimes we have to leave our comfort zone of being angry and upset at everybody else, and we have to try. We really, really have to try to come together. And that's what the beaver taught us. And I think I often feel like if I could communicate to this person and I could describe what's going on, if we could sit down and we could all talk to each other, we could all understand something. And I think that is kind of true. I think we've seen that in various examples. People who are very different, they do sit down, they respect each other, and they talk to each other, and they kind of form an unusual friendship, and change happens. And the animals in Hoppers actually got to do that in a very literal way. They were able to actually communicate with humans and make things happen. Granted, the humans heard them go, but as I'll spoil one scene, so Mabel inside the beaver body is using like a text-to-speech thing, and so she's texting to talk to the mayor, and the mayor is obviously scared because he's like, why does the beaver know English?
You must do exactly as we say, Harry. LOL, I mean Jerry.
And he's able to kind of come around to them, and then so the mayor gets a chance to go into one of the animal bodies to understand what their life is like, and the animals get a chance to go into the mayor's body and the other scientists' bodies and understand what the human world is like. And so they are actually able to literally, look at the other person's side of the grass and walk in another person's shoes. Other notes. So I went to see this film with two of my friends, and funny thing, so they're sisters. My one friend doesn't cry about anything, and when we cry at movies or when we cry about something, she will literally look at us like this, because she thinks that it's funny that we're crying, because she never cries at movies. And the other friend does cry a lot. She cried, I think, within like the first 5 or 10 minutes of the film, because she saw the grandma, and we were like, why are you crying? Nothing has happened yet. And she said, I just know the grandma's gonna die. I just know that she's gonna die. And she did die, because it's a Pixar movie and grandmas always have to die. So, you know, I fell somewhere in the middle. I did tear up quite a few times. And then at the end, I let it go. A single tear fell down my cheek in a beautiful cinematic way. And it's emotional for me. I'm an emotional person. I'm a big baby. Every movie to me is just about like, we should all just love each other, and as human beings we're all the same. And so if you're kind of that person, it probably will make you cry too. And I think the world really is a beautiful place. We don't understand each other, but I think one of the treasures of life is trying to understand each other, trying and succeeding, and actually being able to understand somebody else's life and exploring other people's cultures and ideas and befriending people who are different from us. That is like a treasure of life. And I think Hoppers is telling us, yes, care about the environment, but it's also telling us we have to try to understand each other. And I think that's a very nice message. So I guess that's all about I have to say about Hoppers. For some more updates about me, I started reading ACOTAR. Yes, ladies, I did start reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. I think I'm going to do a review about it. I think I'm going to make a video after I finish it. I'm almost done with the first book. And as far as films I'm looking forward to seeing, I guess I'm going to go see the drama. I didn't have high expectations of it, but people are saying it's good. Terrible title, by the way. But I think I might go see it because, you know, a girl like me likes an A24 movie. Project Hail Mary, I know it's supposed to be good, but something about it I just don't really want to see. I don't really like space movies. Tell me if it's good. Tell me if I'm wrong. I went to go see Mario Galaxy. It was cute. It had a laugh. It was not nearly as good as the first Mario movie, and Donald Glover didn't even say anything as Yoshi hardly. He just went, no, which, was upsetting to me. Rated it on Letterboxd. So if you want to see what I've been watching, if you have recommendations for me, check out Letterboxd. I'm on Letterboxd as Boober Bear, and I am on TikTok as @MadamAdamDriver. So thank you for joining me. I would love to see you guys again. I had some time off work today, so I was able to actually make a video for the first time in like a month. So thank you for watching Unemployed Movie Critic. I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.